And we're also joined today by Coach Vince DiLisio. Coach, you've been a regular on the show now. We were on a 2-week rotation. Last week was a little bit of a jam-packed show, so we pushed back to this week. But love what you've been doing for us. Coach D and I, we spent a little time before my back went out on me coaching together at Phoenix College. And, great guy, love him. And he's been, giving us so much support here at the level, at the JUCO level especially. So we wanted to have Coach on today, and we have a special guest online with us today, Mr. Bryce Perkins. We'll first initially talk to Coach. Give us a little update on what's going on in the world of JUCO.
Well,
sports.
Thank you very much, Coach Ed. Good to see you. This has been quite a season. We started off the year with a clear-cut number one in the country, and that was Arizona Western College, and everything else was kind of a toss-up with the rest of the league. As we had talked about early on, we talked about the parity in the league. The teams that are supposed to win didn't necessarily always win, and the ones that weren't expected to win won a few games. And here we are right at the end of the year, and we have two teams that are going to be in bowl games here at the end of the season, and Eastern Arizona playing for a national championship here in a couple of weeks in Mississippi versus the number one East Mississippi Community College team. Arizona Western is ranked number 2 in the country, so they'll be playing for a national championship. And then the Maricopa champion was Mesa Community College this year. They actually finished the season 6-4. And at one point they were undefeated. They were ranked, I believe, number 5, number 6 in the country, and stumbled a little bit toward the end and recovered and managed to win that Maricopa championship. So they'll be playing in the Valley of the Sun Bowl, representing the Maricopa teams versus Asa College from Brooklyn, New York, that'll be coming in as the at-large team to play them Saturday, December 2nd. So definitely quite a turn of events throughout the season, but it's nice to see that we're at the end here and what we have. Real excited about this Arizona Western team. It's virtually an all-star roster of players. You had 15 players on that roster that made all conference, including the Coach of the Year, Tom Minnick, who's no stranger to that honor. He's done a really good job down there in Yuma to recruit players. He's got kids from Southern California, kids from Texas, a handful of kids from the Valley, and has really put together a special program. That school better do a good job of locking this guy up, because I guarantee you there'll be some colleges out there that'll be knocking on his door now too.
Very cool. And one of the things I've loved, man, is like I said, we get so lost in following NFL, following the professional sports and some of the bigger universities. What you brought to the show is you've given us a focus at that level that sometimes gets forgotten about, and along that line, some of the players as well. So we have Bryce Perkins on the line. Bryce, thank you for joining us, man.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
Good, I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, Bryce, we're real thrilled to have you on the air.
Glad to have you on, Bryce.
This has been quite a season for you. Obviously, take us through a little bit of your journey to this point. You came out of Chandler High School. You broke all kinds of records out there, and at one point up until recently, you had the state single-season touchdown record at 46 that was recently broken by that phenomenal quarterback out of Perry High School. Coming out of high school, tell us a little bit about the process with recruiting and some of the schools and how you ended up here in Tempe.
Okay. Well, first, shout out Brock Purdy at Perry for breaking my record. Good kids, pretty kids. They play Chandler in the state championship coming up, so shout out to him. But my journey from Chandler, I had a couple of schools looking at me, a few schools. Decided to go to AWC, not only for me, but it was the right choice. My dad went there. Thought I could be a hometown hero. Really, the state was behind my back. So it just fit for me at the time. Went there in the summertime. They had Mike Bergavinci, which was a senior quarterback at the time. So redshirted. Next year went in the spring to a quarterback competition with Brady White and Manny Wilkins, two of my good friends right there. Leading up to camp, we were competing. Then I got an injury in the second week of fall camp. So had a 2-level neck fracture. So one of those is a rare injury that the doctors told me that I was never going to play again. So that kind of set me back, you know. So for a period of time, I think I was going to be able to pick up a football again. So they wanted me to get surgery right away because of the severity of it. And they said if I got surgery, it would be a definite that I wouldn't play again. And then if I could try to let it heal, but they said it was a really high unlikelihood that it would heal by itself. So they advised me to get the surgery. So I took it to myself. Me and my family talked about it and decided to wait, you know, and just see if it would heal by itself. Because either way, I wouldn't be able to play football again. So it's the worst case came out. So we decided to sit back and let it heal. So about the second, third month, they finally saw progress in healing. So that's when we kind of saw light. And then that's when we knew, you know, I knew that, you know, God had a plan for me. So later on when it got healed, really had to make a tough decision for me and my family. And just decided to transfer because they already had a quarterback, Manny Wilkins, and they brought another quarterback, Blake Barnett from Alabama. So I had to look out for me, make my best decision, and decided to transfer to junior college so I could play right away and then get back to the top competing level, back to Power 5. And Minnick called me. He was like, we want you. We seen you in high school. We really liked you, but obviously you at ASU, so we didn't recruit you like that. So he called me, had a conversation with him, and you know, I really liked everything what he's saying. You know, the team, the way he brought the team up. You know, they're a top powerhouse. So that obviously drew me in, and also one of the old coaches at Chandler High School is the receivers coach up there. So we have a relationship, me, my family, and him and his wife have a relationship together. So that also kind of influenced me of going up there to Yuma and playing for the Matadors.
Bryce playing at Chandler, that's as professional an organization as you'll get in high school football. Then you move on to ASU, another professional, high-quality program. How did being in both of those programs get you ready for what you're doing now at Arizona Western?
Oh, definitely good. You know, coming from Chandler and ASU, it definitely helped me prepare as far as, you know, my maturity level and game prep, because they really emphasize a lot of professionalism, you know, at Chandler and ASU. So when I got to ASU Western, I knew how to game prep. I knew how to lead in the right way, communicate with the guys, and just do everything the right way. So when I transitioned to AZ Western, I think I was a big influence on some of the other guys, you know, helping them not only with the playbook, but helping them off the field, you know, with schoolwork and everything else.
Bryce, last year when you made this decision over the summer to transfer and leave ASU, head down to Arizona Western, obviously last year Arizona Western had just played for a national championship, losing. So expectations were high going into this year. Coach Minnick had communicated to you, you know, they lost a quarterback. You were stepping into a situation, and before he was going to hand you the keys, you know, there's some things that you had to prove because you were coming off an injury that could have very well ended your career. And for you to want to continue and give it another shot as a quarterback, I had a chance to see that first game against Eastern, and that you really, you know, and no offense, you didn't have a great game that game. What was going through your head going into that first game, you know, with getting this second chance to start over again, and take us through kind of the progression of the season real quickly, if you would, to where you are today.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. The first game was rough for me. It was a multiple factors. I wasn't really sure. I was still kind of timid. I haven't played since high school, so it's been 2 years. And adding an injury to that, I was kind of, you know, I wasn't scared, but I definitely was playing conservative as far as, you know, not sure if my neck was going to hold up, all that. And also just playing rusty, not used to the game. kind of expecting things to be slower and easier because it's JUCO football. But for anybody that hasn't played in JUCO football, it's some top talent in JUCO football. So
you've got a good number of Division I players on your own roster, even, and you got the best tight end in the country. Coach would be happy to hear that.
Oh yeah.
And the best, the player of the year in the running back, and Greg Bell, who's been recruited by some schools. And so what's on the horizon for you? You had mentioned in that story with Richard Obert this week that Virginia had made an offer, Indiana was looking at you. What else you got out there?
Those two, Virginia, Indiana's looking at me, and then just recently, University of Illinois has reached out to me, and so I'm talking to them a little bit. But those are the only three. But it seems like as the week progresses, I'm starting to get more and more looks.
Well, Bryce, we appreciate you joining us, man, and we want you to consider yourself part of the Easy Sports Talks family. So continue to let us know how you're doing, and keep working hard, man, and show your tight end some love, okay?
Thank you, appreciate that.
Thanks, Bryce.
That was Bryce Perkins joining us, Coach. Thank you for joining us as well. Anything else going on real quick?
Well, we got, basketball will be starting up in the league, in the junior college league here. So we'll be reporting on men's and women's over the next couple of weeks. Some good things coming up, real exciting stuff.
Okay, so we're going to be checking in with you in a couple of weeks. We'll be moving right on to basketball. So